Hello. What up? Mm. Hello there, guys. Welcome back to the stream. बैक आज से पहले एक ही स्ट्रीम है क्या? गोइंग टू स्टडी 10 बजे तक। अभी 8:15 हो रहे हैं। बजे तक है। जिम जाना भाई को। हाँ, पढ़ाई के साथ साथ कसरत भी ज़रूरी है। ओके, लेट्स गो। लोग भी आना, साथ में पढ़ना। ठीक है? जा रहा है। अभी तक तो कोई आया नहीं है। और ये तो अभी अभी तो पढ़ाई वाली, ऐसी वाली नहीं होगी। कभी कभी पढ़ाई के साथ साथ वो भी करेंगे, गेमिंग और थोड़ी ना। स्टार्ट। करो मैं। तो भाई, हाँ, भाई बिल्कुल। चलो करते हैं। बता दो क्या पढ़ना है। कैट के लिए पढ़ रहे हैं हम भाई। कैट 2025। बात ये है कि मैंने कुछ पढ़ाई नहीं की, तो दिन में क्या क्या कर सकते। देखा जाए कुछ नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन लेकिन कुछ कर लिया तो मेरे से ना पढ़ा नहीं जाता। वह बैठा रहता हूँ, मेरे से ना पढ़ा। टेबल पे बैठा हूँ, एक पेज आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा। 2 पेज आगे अगर बढ़ भी गया तो भूल जाऊंगा पहला पेज कौन सा था। क्या? तो मैं कहा ऐसे तो पढ़ा नहीं जा, करने का बड़ा मन। घर वाले सब बोले "मेरा पढ़ाई पे ध्यान"। दोनों ही कर लेते हैं ना, स्ट्रीम पे पढ़ लेते हैं। तो आ गया मैं। आई एम हियर स्ट्रीम। कब से कोशिश कर रहा हूँ यहाँ आने की। कुछ सब कुछ गलत होए जा रहा, कुछ ना कुछ गलत हो। आज आज करें। अब फाइनली चलने लगा है कुछ। भाई मैं तो वो भी ऐड कर रहा था। अ, हाँ, मैं तो भाई टाइमर-वाइमर लगा रहा था लेकिन हो ही नहीं रहा, आता ही नहीं। क्यों भाई? बहुत खेलता है सारी चीज़ें, हर चीज़ के ट्यूटोरियल कोई आउटडेटेड होता है, कोई नहीं आता। ये आधा काम आता है, करते फिर लगता है भाई। तो ये बताओ आवाज़ आ रही है ना? आवाज़ आ रही है भाई? ओए! कितना लैग है, कितना डिले है। मैं बोल रहा हूँ मुझे अपने ही उस पे डिवाइस पे नहीं दिख 40 सेकंड। नो व्यूअर्स बढ़िया, मज़ा आ रहा है। गेमिंग-वेमिंग भी करेंगे सून हम प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट। Join us ready. Get your
Join us ready for the gaming stream, yeah? Oil up, oil. Okay, boy?
okay, yeah, back. That was my monster friend. His name is तो मैंने इंट्रो कहाँ दिया? Welcome back to the channel guys. This is Jha.G. Uh, this is Shivam as well. मेरा नाम शिवम है। Let's see. Let's see नहीं वेलकम बैक एंड क्या करते हैं इन सब में यार, एक तो लाइव है, सब कुछ जा रहा है, काट भी नहीं सकते। अम, ओके, तो आज हम पढ़ेंगे ल ल ल ल ल linear and quadratic equation. I think all of us are aware of this topic. स्कूल में किया है, मज़ा आता था मुझे स्कूल में। लेट्स गो। दूर हो जा माइक बैंड। ये ठीक है। भाई मैं एक क्लास चलाऊँगा अपनी जो साउंड आएगी मैं आपको नहीं दिखा सकता। मैं दिखा भी तो दूँगा, कोशिश भी करूँगा दिखा ब्लैक स्क्रीन आएगी, सुनो ही लो।
Hi everyone. Welcome today to the concept on linear equation. What we're going to do over here, understand all the concepts around linear equation. What is a linear equation? What's the standard form? How do you represent the graph? And now, when I say linear equation, what is a linear equation, or why is the linear equations? Now, if I take an example, 2x plus 3y is equal to 6 is a linear equation. The reason it is called a linear equation is that because if I draw the graph for this equation, I will get a line. So you can see that if I take 2x plus 3y is equal to 6 and plot it on the graph, I will get a straight line cutting the x-axis at 3 and y-axis at 2. And this is why it is called linear equation. What's the standard of any linear equation? The standard form of linear equation can be ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Continuing types of linear equation. So you could have a linear equation with only one variable. When I say it's one variable, I have only x. So something like this. X plus 11 is 3. Now if you take this equation, you solve it on, you don't need any other equation to solve it. So you can say 3x is equal to 23 minus 11 and so on and get the answer. But there can be equations with two variables. So in the case with two variables, I have taken one example of 3x plus 7y is 21. Now this equation cannot be solved on its own. It will require one more equation. So that is why equations with two variables are sometimes called as simultaneous equations, which means it will require minimum two equations to solve the question. And similarly, I can have equation with three variables. So taking an example 2x plus 5y plus 3z is 29. Again, to solve this equation or such equation, I will require minimum three equations. So yes, you can logically, if there was only one variable, you require only one equation to solve it. If there are two variables, you require two equations to solve it. If there are three variables, you'll require three equations to solve it. Simultaneous linear equation. So we are basically talking about simultaneous equation which have two variables. So example one, I'm taking a simultaneous equation where the first equation is 5x plus 9y is 20, and the second one is 5x plus 7y. Now what do you notice in this? Already coefficients of x is same, which means 5x and 5x, the coefficient of x is already same, which means here I don't have to multiply the equation with anything. I can directly eliminate 5x by subtracting the two equations. So let's just subtract the two equations. What will you get if you subtract them? 5x gets eliminated. You'll get 2y is equal to 10, which means y is equal to, take y is equal to 5 and substitute any one of the equations, and you will get x is equal to minus 5. And that's what I would call solution set minus 5 comma 5, or the values of x is minus 5 and y is 5. Let's take one more example over here. Now the second type is where the 5 comma 5, or the values of x is minus 5 and y is 5. Let's take one more example over here. Now the second type is where the coefficients are not same. So 7x plus 3y is 13 is equation 1, and 3x minus 5y is minus 7 is equation 2. So now these are two distinct equations or two different equations. To solve them, I will have to make some coefficients same, either the x coefficient or the y coefficient. What we are doing in this, we are making the x coefficient same. So we are going to multiply our first equation by 5. So I will have a 15y, and the second equation by 3. So I'll have a minus 15y, right? So we've just taken numbers and cross multiply. So the coefficient y from the second equation we have multiplied on the in the first equation, and so on to the second equation. So what will my first equation become? It will become 35x plus 15y is equal to 65. And the second equation becomes 9x minus 15y is equal to negative 21. Adding both the equations. By adding and not subtracting this, because 15y and minus 15y, the signs are already distinct. So if I add both the equations, I'll get 44x is equal to 44, giving me x is equal to 1. Take x is equal to 1, put any one of the equations earlier, you will get y is equal to 2, and that is your solution. So this was the second type of problem, simultaneous. 5x and 5. Let's just substitute in any one of the equations, and you will get x is equal to minus 5. And that's what I would call a solution set minus comma 5, or the values of x is minus 5 and y is 5. Let's take one more example over here. Now, the second type where the coefficients are not same. So 7x plus 3y is 13 is equation 1, and 3x minus 5y is minus 7 is equation 2. So now these are two distinct equations or two different equations. To solve them, I will have to make some coefficients same, either the x coefficient or the y coefficient. The examples. Suppose if I have a1x, that is number of roots in a linear equation or a simultaneous equation. Now let's start with the example and try and understand as we take examples. Suppose if I have a1x plus by is equal to as the standard form of a linear equation, first equation, and the second equation is a2x plus b2 is equal to. Let's take an example around it. 6x plus 9y is 20 and 9x 13.5y is 30. So if I give two equations to you and told you to try and solve it, what would happen? You could actually take a pause here and actually solve them. Okay. So if try to solve the equation, you would notice that if you multiplied the first equation say by 9 and the second equation by 6 to cut off the coefficient of x, you notice that you're not only cutting off x, but you're cutting off y also, and you're cutting constant term also. So what has happened? Why is this happening? Why did it not happen earlier? And why is suddenly this happening? Well, let's have a look at what are the coefficients of x and 9. So 6 by 9. What are the coefficients of y? 9 and 13.5 is same as 9 upon 13.5, which is same as 20 upon 30. So all of them were equal to 2 upon 3. Because all of them were equal to 3 2 upon 3, we know that a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2. Now in this case, because the coefficients were in such a way that a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 c2, when you try to cut out x, even y cut off, and even the constant term cut off. So what happens? So what is it actually? So if you think graphically, you actually have only one line. So this is our first line. Suppose say 6x plus 9y is 20. The second line 9x plus 13.5y is 30 is actually the same line. So when you try to plot it on the graph, you actually get exactly overlapping line, right? So in short, you have been given one equation, you haven't been given two equations. So if I just told you, say two mangoes and five oranges cost 100 rupees. Two mangoes and 5 oranges cost 100. Now, but if I then tell you four mangoes and 10 oranges cost 200, what have I done? I've just multiplied the first equation by 2 and given you one more equation. You'll never be able to solve sum. And hence, in cases, you will notice that there is a single equation. And if there is a single equation, every point on that line is satisfying. And hence, we say such equations have infinite solutions. That means the number of roots are infinite. So let's look at the rule once more. If a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2, there are infinite solutions. Let's go ahead and let's the second type. The second type of example is, so again I'm going to take the example first. 4x plus 7y is 10, and the other equation was 10x plus 17.5y is 30. Now, what happens when you try to solve this? You again do the same thing, take a pause and try to solve. Now, if you try to solve, that is again multiply the first equation by 10 and the second equation by 4. What happens? You notice both x and y terms cut out, but the constant term does not cut out. So here 4 by 10 is equal to 7 by 7.5. That is both of them will be 2 by 5. But is not equal to 10 by 30. So what has happened in this case? A1 by 8 is equal to B1 by B2 is not equal to C1 by C2. Right? So here we say that the equations are inconsistent. Let me explain that to you. Again taking the example earlier, say two mangoes and five oranges costing 100 rupees. And if I told you four mangoes and 10 oranges now cost only 150. Well, because if we have doubled, it should have cost 200, not 150. Which means we say the equations are inconsistent. Okay? And when you try to draw graphically, you will notice that you actually got two parallel lines. Because you've got parallel lines, don't intersect at all. And because they don't intersect, there is no solution. And we say no solution exists as the equations were not consistent or the lines were parallel. Let's look at the third type. So the example over here is
भाई क्या दिखाऊँ? बुक दिखाऊँ? बस एक ही कैमरा में एक बारी में।
Six x plus 9y is 80, and 13x minus 15y is equal to 30, not equal to C1 by C2, right? So, and if I told you 4 mangoes and 20, sorry, 10 oranges will now cost only 150. Well, because if we have doubled, it should have cost 200, not 150. Which means we say the equations are inconsistent. Okay? And when you try to draw graphically, you will notice that you actually got two parallel lines. Because you've got parallel lines, they don't intersect at all. And because they don't intersect, there is no solution. And we say no solution exists as the equations were not consistent or the lines were parallel. Let's look at the third type. So the example over here is 6x plus 9y is 80, and 13x minus 15y is equal to 39. Now if you try to solve this equation solves like a normal question. You can solve this equation normally. Here 6 by 13 is not equal to 9 by minus 15. You don't even, when a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, you don't even need to bother about c1 by c2. So a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. What about it graphically? Graphically, they intersect at one point. So there is one unique point where they intersect each other, and hence we say that unique solution exists. So one unique solution exists. So very important concept on the number of roots of any simultaneous equation. Hi everyone. Let's have a look at very peculiar and a particular concept from linear equations. Number of integral solutions with one equation. So basically we're talking about when only one equation is given, what happens. Let's look at what a linear equation. We know a linear equation is in the form of ax plus by is equal to c. If I draw that on the graph, and if I ask you how many solutions does this equation have, the answer is obvious that infinite solutions. Right? We've done that earlier in the equation part. That if you have only one equation, you will have infinite solutions. Now, but what if I add conditions to it? Like how many integral solutions, how many positive integral solutions, how many negative solutions. So based on some conditions which are there in the question, like if I told you number of boys and girls in the class, so we know that number of boys and girls will have to be an integral positive integral number. Well, it could be zero also, zero or positive integral number. So even though the condition was not clearly told to you, but from the question you realize that the condition involved, and hence you take that condition and try and solve it. What we are going to do is take an example first. Find the number of positive integrals for the equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. So I've taken a very simple equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. How many positive integral solutions are there? We will also see how the different solutions of x and y behave. What kind of relation do they have with the original equation? So what we're going to do is we're going to get the first set of values trial and error. So 2x plus 3y is 8. So I can see if I took x as 4, y would become 0. So when x is 4, y is 0. That's a very obvious solution to the equation. Now, does this solution satisfy the given condition? The given condition was positive integral solution. Therefore, this value does not satisfy because 0 is not positive. So 4 comma 0 does satisfy. Then why did I take? Well, I took it because that was the most easiest value I could think of. Right? So let's now reach the second value using the first value. That's the important part here. How do you reach the second, third, fourth values using the first value? So what is the coefficient of x? The coefficient of x is 2. Now, what you can do is, by the way, before you go ahead, can you see that now you just want the value of y to increase, because if y decreases, it will get into negative, and that is not our use, because we have told us that we want positive integrations, right? So I want the values of x, y to increase. The coefficient of x is how much? 2. So the value of y will directly next increase by 2. So the next solution will be when y is 2, x will be 1. Obviously, the rule does not apply only to y, it applies to x also. What was the coefficient of y? 3. And that impacted the value of x. So you can see the value of x went down by 3, while the value of y went up by 2. And this is the standard rule if I keep increasing y and keep increasing x. Obviously, it could go into the other range also. I could keep increasing x and y would decrease. By the way, why is one increasing and the other decrease? It's happening because clearly there's a sum in between, plus 2x plus 3y is 8. So if x will increase, y will automatically decrease. So 1 comma 2, does this value satisfy the equation with all the conditions? Yes, it does. Both of them are positive, are integer, and so on. Now, can we do the next value directly? Again, increase y by 2, x by 3. So the next set of values will be x will be minus 2, y will become 4. This also does not satisfy because x has become negative. And so on, if I keep going ahead, x will keep remaining negative, y will keep increasing. If I had gone on the other side, x would keep increasing, y would have become negative. So even though we had only one equation, 2x plus 3y is 8, I have only one solution. And the answer is 1 comma 2. That is, when x is 1, y is 2. So a single solution is existing because of the condition that we wanted positive integral solutions. Great. Let's go to the next example. Find the number of positive integral solutions for the equation 2x plus 3y is 763. So I've taken the same equation, but I have increased the constant term. So instead of 8, I'm using 763, a large value. Now let's try and take one simple value again by trial and error. What's the easiest value you can by trial and error? So the value which I thought was when x. So if I see, if I took x as 1, 760 minus 2 would have become 761, which does not go in 3. So it does not give me a value. So next I tried with x as 2. When x was 2, 759 is what I got on the right side. So 3y is 759 and y became 53. So the first value you always get trial and error taking smaller values for x or for y, any of them. So we took x as 2, that time y became 253, right? So what would be the next value of x and y? So what we learned from the earlier part, the coefficient of x will impact the value of y, and the coefficient of y will impact the value of x. So now, because you can see x is low and y is a high value, x will increase, y will decrease. So x will increase by how much? 3. And y will automatically decrease by 2. So x will become 5, y will become 251. Right? You don't even need to check whether total 763. It will definitely be right. The next value will be x is 8, y is 249. And now so on, if I keep going ahead, the last value which I will have will be x is 380 and y will be 1. Why can x not be above 380? If x goes above 380, y will become negative, right? So the last value you can again, x is 380. 2 into 380 is 760 and 3 ones is 3, so that is 763. So last value is x is 380 and y is 1. The question asked was find the number of integral solutions for this, right? So let's go for that. Now I can find the number of integral solutions using x or y, doesn't matter. I'm going to use y in this case because it's much easier. They are all straightforward odd numbers. So looking at the values of y, for 1, 5, 7, dash, 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 up to 53. Obviously, I'm starting from down. So when x was 1, x was, when y was 1, x was 380 and so on. So the values of y were 1, 3, 5, 7, up till 53. These are all odd numbers. I just need to know how many of them are there. Let's do a quick rough calculation. If I count till 250, there will be 125 odd numbers and 125 even. So my 125 counts are there only. 251 would be the 126th number and 253 would have been the 127th number. And hence, this question will have 127 solutions. Is that clear? Very important, very important concept in general also. Let's take one more example. Now, the next example, we're going to take negative. 2x minus 3y is equal to 8. What happens when the negative sign in between? In this case, what happens if x increases, y will also increase. If x decreases, y will also decrease. Let's start with the same logic what we did earlier. Let's take the first value. When x is 4, y is 0. This value does not satisfy because it is not, y is not positive integral solution. Its 0 is not a positive value. The next value, x will increase by 3, y will increase by 2. Same logic which we applied earlier. X will increase by 3, y will increase by 2. This value satisfies. X will increase by 3, 10. Y will increase by 2, becomes 4. Again satisfies. 13 again satisfies. And this would keep going on infinitely. And hence, this equation will have infinite solution. So the whole thing changed because there was a negative sign in between, and this question had infinite solutions. So this was the whole concept of number of integral solutions with one equation. Hi everyone. Let's have a look at what quadratic equations are and what do you mean by a quadratic equation. Let's understand the standard form of a quadratic equation. So when I say a standard form of quadratic equation, it simply means the equation has to be in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a cannot be 0. Now why is this condition a cannot be 0? What would happen if a was 0? Now if a was 0, there would be no square. And if there was no square, this equation would become a linear equation. And hence a not equal to 0 is very important. So let's have a look at what are the different things which will happen with value of a. So if I wrote the quadratic equation like a function, so f of x is ax square plus bx plus c, a quadratic function where a is greater than 0, then what would happen? So in the case, the graph which I would draw would be a straight U. In other words, it's a parabola. Different types of parabola, but it's a straight U for the ones who don't get into a parabola. So now when we talk about this graph, if I had taken the x and y axis, wherever this would cut the x axis, those two values the solution of the quadratic equation, right? Continuing further, if I took a is less than 0, I will get an inverted U. Now again, if you take this inverted U, again it's a different type of parabola. Now please remember these U's, they don't have to be in the exact same shape. They could be a little bit spread out, they could be a bit narrow or whatever. Okay, that will depend on values of A. Now, if A is less than 0, you will get an inverted U. Again, if you it on the graph paper x and y axis, wherever it will cut the axis, those will be the two solutions or the two roots of the quadratic equation. So this is what we mean standard for quadratic equation, and understanding how does a quadratic equation behave when the value of a is less than 0 or a is greater than 0.
की वैल्यू ऐसी डालनी है जो आ जाए। पैरेलल लाइन्स में व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज़ अ कॉर्ड पेयर? चला नहीं फिर x प्लस 1 ए व्हाट इज़ अ क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन? अब these तुक्का मार दूँ क्या? कोई है भी नहीं हेल्प करने के लिए, बताओ। ग्राफ ऑफ स्क्वायर माइनस द फक ए एक्स स्क्वायर है। पैराबोला नहीं। Find the value of m if following equations represent coincident overlapping lines. अच्छा, find the value of m if following represent coincident overlap. Right solutions. Parallel lines में no real solution, right? We'll go back to that video एक बारी check करें. Still confused on this part. So find out the value of m if following equations represent coincident or overlapping. Fx minus m is equal to 8 to minus 7 plus 28 is 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4. It is equal to 5 ये तो 20 होगा ना, minus 20. No, if you go by this coefficient, let's see. Yeah. Find out the solution set following equal. P plus Q is equal to 25. P minus Q is equal to 50. ये ऑप्शन से जाते हैं. 20 और 5 डालो तो हो जाएगा। 5 और 20 डालो नहीं होगा। ए, each of the following cannot be given, cannot be the value of k if given system. Unique solution. Unique solution for that, a1 by b2 is not equal to b1 by b2. Minus 7 by 5 is minus 7. 2 पे minus 2 डालो नहीं होगा। 7 by 10 अगर डालो, it will be 2 by minus 2 7। और अगर minus 7 डाले तो 2 upon 2 into 7 by 5, 7 by minus 5, basically minus 7 by 5 ये होगा। D, we got that D. Let's go. I cannot be faulted 15 सेकेंड है सजेस्टेड के अंदर करने में। Come on dog. All 21x minus 1 minus 1 क्या क्या सॉल्व करूँ? 1 by x है बराबर कैसे बनाए भाई? 21 माइनस प्लस 4/7 1 और 3 डालो अगर 21 नहीं कुछ 1/7 अगर डालो तो 10 और माइनस 1 ही बन रहा है 3 माइनस 1 माइनस 4 3 और माइनस 4 हो गया ये डी गेन लेट्स गो। दो गलत हो गए फक हो रहा है सिंपल से ही थे ये nowhere near what they are going to ask me but it is good confidence builder I think so। मुझे एक बड़ा काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव लगता है इफ आई से it is a good confidence builder now I know that it will build my confidence but if I know that it will build my confidence will it really build my confidence you know that dilemma like how can you trick your mind if your mind already knows it is being tricked। एक तो समझ नहीं आता माइंड में दो चार जगह से आवाज क्यों आती है एक चीज क्यों नहीं चलती। 9:18 हो रहे हैं भाई अपने पास 40 मिनट के अराउंड है। लेट्स सी डिटेल रिव्यू इसमें क्या गलत हुआ चौथे में। बस सही कौन सा है भाई -10/5 टू पैरेलल लाइंस करने के लिए क्या होगा तो देखा जाए अगर हम -10/5 डालेंगे इसमें के में 3x माइनस -10/5 10.5 y का है 3x प्लस 5y 15। दूसरी सोल्यूशन दूसरा इक्वेशन है 2x प्लस 7y इक्वल टू 11। तो ये हो रहा है 3/2 10.5/7 7 का हाफ 3.5 होता है 10.5 हो जाए फिर उसमें ऐड तो दैट्स 3/2 राइट 3.5 का सेकंड पार्ट इज सेकंड पार्ट 3/2 15 और 11 का रिलेशनशिप क्या है नहीं है तो पैरेलल लाइंस बन जाएंगी गुड आफ्टरनून ये मैं भूल गया था कि ये गलत कर दिया रूल्स में याद है स्कूल में पढ़ा था इतने अच्छे से याद नहीं है भाई कैट वैट के क्वेश्चंस देखो ना वही सिंपल सी चीज़ होती है किसी को पता नहीं क्या बना देते हैं समझ ही नहीं आता उसमें मेहनत करनी पड़ जाती क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड मेंटल एबिलिटी टेस्ट कर यही तो खराब हूँ चलो नेक्स्ट दो गलत हुए थे ना ये क्या है विच ऑफ द ये मैंने आलस में नहीं ऑल ऑफ दीज दबा दिया मुझे सॉल्व नहीं करना चाहिए ये आ रहा है क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन के लिए ax स्क्वायर प्लस bx प्लस c होना चाहिए x और ये a तो हो नहीं सकता इसका जीरो है d तो ऑल ऑफ दीज है मैंने ऑल ऑफ दीज क्यों दबाया जब a हो ही नहीं सकता ब्रेन फक चूतिया हूँ c लेट्स सी 3x माइनस नहीं c नहीं पहले b तो देखूं लेट्स सॉल्व एज इफ क्वेश्चन बना रहा हूँ मैं मुझे आंसर नहीं पता मान के चलते x प्लस 1 माइनस 2 इक्वल टू x स्क्वायर प्लस 3x इज इट रियली x into x 2 minus 2 minus 1 into x 1 into minus 2 equal to x plus x अजीब सा आ रहा कुछ nope not b c 3x minus x square is equal to 2x square 3x plus 7 बताओ 10 आउट ऑफ 10 आ जाते आलस नहीं दिखाया होता तो नहीं आलस नहीं दिखाया होता तो नवंबर तक मेरा एग्जाम वो प्रिपरेशन भी पूरी हो चुकी होती लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट पूरा ही बंद हो गया और चेक ऑन डॉग स्टैटिस्टिक्स 40, 40 से कम नहीं। 1 मिनट भाई बताओ, आलस भी दिखाया और अटेम्प्ट भी नहीं किया। सॉल्व तो कर लेता कम से कम, इतने में तो हो जाता। पैराबोला में भी टाइम नहीं लेना चाहिए इतना। ये वाला स्कूल बात भी करना शुरू कर दिया था इस पॉइंट पे आई थिंक। 52 सेकंड्स, 1 मिनट 50, अराउंड 1 एंड हाफ मिनट्स कहीं बच रहे हैं तो कहीं लग रहे हैं वो। ऑन एन एवरेज 1 मिनट लेके चलो, बेटर करना होगा लेकिन स्पेल नहीं मतलब 30 सेकंड 40 सेकंड अगर आ जाए आइडियल। अब करेंगे क्लास एक्सरसाइज। तो ये तो अभी इंस्ट्रक्टर लेड वाले कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है। अ, एक बार ये कर लेंगे, पहले कुछ दिन मैं यही करूँगा, ठीक है। उसके बाद मेरा एम है, आज सेकंड है ना, 20 तक, 20 आते आते सर्टेन चैप्टर से 12-13 मैंने सेलेक्ट करे हैं, जितने करूँगा मैं उतना पूरा सिलेबस नहीं करने वाला हूँ। मेन मेन चीज़ें करने वाला। और जल्दी जल्दी अभी तो 24-24 घंटे बैठना है, अभी जिम से आके भी आधा घंटा है अपने पास। आधे घंटे में देखते हैं कितना होता है, जिम से वापस आके बाकी का करेंगे। अभी कुछ दिन यही करना है, जो ये रिकैप वाले हैं, इनसे जल्दी होगा। एटलीस्ट आई विल बी थ्रू विद द टॉपिक। उसके बाद 10 दिन बैठ के भाई चौबीसों घंटे पेपर देना है, एनालाइज करना, पेपर देना, एनालाइज करना। पीआरसी मेरा ठीक है, वो मैं कर लूँगा। बीच बीच में आई थिंक 1-2 दिन हमें डीआईएलआर पे भी देना पड़ेगा, तो 1 हफ्ता तो टेस्ट दूंगा सिर्फ एटलीस्ट। और बाकी दिनों विल सी कितनी तेज़ी से कर सकता हूँ। एक दिन में 2 टॉपिक अगर कवर हो रहे हो बढ़िया है, अगर क्योंकि ये 2 घंटे में बता रहा है, चल मेरे को 4 घंटे लग जाएँ, लेकिन अगर 4-5 घंटे एक में लगा के एक टॉपिक खत्म हो गया उस दिन, ये ना भाई, क्योंकि सिर्फ 4-5 घंटे नहीं पढ़ना अब, 10-15 घंटे। लेट्स सी, लेट्स स्टार्ट, एनफ ऑफ वॉफलिंग। ये कवर लगा के आवाज़ ज़्यादा अच्छी आती है या हटा के? व्हाट? ऐसे ही बता, मुझे मज़ा। ये साउंड कार्ड बढ़िया चीज़ होती है। टुन टुन, टुन टुन टुन। हेलो। हाँ, बेस भाई एकदम बढ़ा रखा हूँ, एकदम क्लियर पे है, वो वाली आई। फिर ये देख देख रहे हो क्यों नहीं पढ़ पाता हूँ मैं? यही डिस्ट्रैक्ट। easily distracted. Pro gets lost in the sauce, taken by the movements of the galaxy, the universe around him. I'm taken aback by very easily. Aback, forward, never forward though. Actually, कुछ तो पढ़ा मैं भाई। वरना ये करने में पता है ये करने में कितना देर लगता मुझे। इस स्ट्रीम पे हूँ मैंने कर लिया, वरना ऐसे करते करते भाई ये 2 दिन तक मैं यहीं बैठा रहता। कुछ करने लग जाऊँ, कुछ और करने लग जाऊँ। फक से कैमरा अलग हो गया। कैमरा गॉट डिस्कनेक्टेड। कर पाते
In this sum, it is given that classify the following on the basis of order, number of variables, and the number of terms. And the given expression is x power 4 plus y power 5 plus 3x square y plus 7y minus 4x cube y cube plus 2xyz minus 3yx square minus 4 over here. Now the most easiest, let's say, out of the three in terms of order, number of variables and number of term is the number of, let's say, variable over here. As you can clearly see in this particular case that the number of variables are three, we can see a x, we can also see a y, we can also see a z over here. So number of variable in the given expression happens to be nothing but equals to a 3. But that doesn't, let's say, help us to eliminate any of the options over here. Now, the trick about suppose the number of term basically would be because moment I have likewise term, they can be added and they can be converted into a single term. For example, I can let's say, talk about the term 3x and 5x basically as a like term. And suppose if I talk about the addition of 3x plus 5x, it is going to become equals to 8x over here. So please note likewise term basically can be combined so that we reduce them. So most common
तो गाइस प्लान में थोड़ा चेंज है। पढ़ाई करेंगे आके, अभी जिम जा रहा हूँ मैं, फिर वही बोलोगे ना सब, कोई है भी नहीं, किससे बात कर रहा? जो भी है, कोई तो है, शायद रिकॉर्डिंग देख ले कोई, तो बनेगा यार, गंदी खराब। पता है ये सब भी कर सकते हो भाई। हाँ भाई, प्लीज़ हमने चैप्टर स्टार्ट किया है अभी। क्या क्या नाम था इसका? लीनियर इक्वेशन, लीनियर एंड क्वाड्रेटिक। चैप्टर अच्छा लगता है मुझे ये, आई रियली लाइक दिस टॉपिक। बचपन में भी भाई अपने आप इक्वेशन बनता था। देखते हैं इफ आई हैव द सेम टच। नो, लेकिन उससे पहले आई हैव टू टच सम वेट्स। हे भाई, मैं एकदम वो हो चुका हूँ। क्या है ये? क्या है? व्हाट इज, व्हाट इज, कांट हैव दिस फॉर टू लॉन्ग। तो चलते हैं अभी के लिए, फिर थोड़ा रेडी भी होना है, जिम थोड़ा दूर है, तो वहाँ चल के आता हूँ। उसके बाद विल बी बैक। रोल पैनल कोई आया? कौन करंट व्यूअर्स 1? वो मैं ही हूँ, मैं नहीं चला रखा। फिर ऑडियो के इश्यू इश्यू बता रहा भाई। क्या करूँ मैं ऑडियो का? बिट रेट भी चेंज कर दिया था मैंने। फक ऑफ मैन, अपना सुन के देखूंगा कैसी आती है। इनकी इसका भरोसा ही नहीं कर रहा, बहन जो कहीं चेंज करने का तो ऑप्शन दी, बोल बस बोल देता है कि चेंज कर, कहाँ से करूँ बता भी दे। छोड़, चलो, बाय बाय, सी यू गाइस इन 1.5 2 hours and we'll be back. But continue the topic from where we left off. क्लास एक्सरसाइज करनी है अभी हमें, 20-25 क्वेश्चन होंगे। 2-3 2 ढाई घंटे की वीडियो है, जितने भी पार्ट्स होंगे जो भी है, आज ही ख़त्म करके सोना है, ठीक है? चलो, आता हूँ, बाय बाय, गुड नाइट। लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब करो, अभी तो कोई है नहीं लाइव, लेकिन अगर कोई बाद में देखे, पता नहीं क्या देखने के लिए मिलेगा। अभी ये मैं प्रैक्टिस स्ट्रीम्स ही मान लो इन सबको, एक्चुअल चीज़ें आएँगी, फ़नी चीज़ें भी होगी, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होंगी भाई, इसमें गेम भी खेलेंगे, जीटीए, वैलोरेंट, बायोशॉक खेलना है भाई मुझे, बायोशॉक, यस, दैट वाज़, कब से सोच रखा है उसे कंप्लीट करूँ, अब तक नहीं किया। तो ठीक है, चलो, बाय बाय, हैव अ नाइस डे, नाइस नाइट, गुड नाइट, एंड विल सी यू टुमारो। हाँ, टुमारो ही हुआ, 12 के बाद ही आ रहा हूँ।